Hello BookTube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth and this is my Friday Reads. Well, I had an exciting thing happen during this past week. I hit 500 subscribers. I'm so excited. It's just hard to fathom that many people have clicked subscribe on my channel, and I want to thank you so much for that. It's just really a wonderful feeling. And I was just telling my husband this past week, we don't really do a lot of socializing other than church activities and and then we have our work. So this has really become my social outlet. I've really scaled back on a lot of the volunteering that I've done in previous years. So this has just been a wonderful outlet for me to socialize, and I just crave your comments. I love to chat with you in the comments, and it's just been a fabulous experience. So thank you so much. Now, the other big thing that is coming up is a reading challenge that was started by Troy Towell and myself last year, and it'll be here before we know it, and it's March Mystery Madness. In fact, I'm posting a video announcement about March Mystery Madness today as well. I just started a Twitter group last night and got that up, and so we're getting things rolling. So be sure you check out that video if you're interested in participating in March Mystery Madness, or if you just want to know what it's all about, then I hope you'll join in. So now on to what I'm reading this week. Since the month started, I have only finished 2 books. One was short and one was long, and they were both audio. The first book I finished was A Shiloh Christmas by Phyllis, Reynolds, and Naylor. This is one that I discovered when I was looking up all my series that I finished, thinking I had finished all of the Shiloh books, which at the time I read them were a trilogy, and discovering that there was a 4th book. Even though it was Christmas themed, I just went ahead and listened to it. It was available on Hoopla through my library. It was only about 5 hours long. I did really enjoy it. I had one little concern that just kind of niggled at me a little bit. If you have read the Shiloh, if you've read the first 3 Shiloh books and you are interested in reading the 4th one, then I may be throwing in a few spoilers. So while you see the Shiloh cover up, just be aware that I may be giving you spoilers, and you can skip on past that. In this book, there's not really a villain in this book. In the previous Shiloh books, the nemesis of Marty was Judd Travers, and he started to kind of better himself. Towards the end of the 3rd Shiloh book, he was becoming a better person and growing a lot. And so in this 4th book, he has really come a long way, and he and Marty are actually becoming friends. So in this book, the conflict is with the new preacher at their church and the way he is treating and raising his children. And that can be a tricky issue because you could really get into a big discussion about how to raise and discipline your children. And in this case, the preacher is using Bible scriptures to justify what he's doing, and not really taking the whole Bible. He's just kind of using the parts he wants to use. So I did like how Marty's dad brought up a couple of other verses which, kind of balanced things out a little bit, and it kind of started helping the preacher to see what he was doing. But I'm just concerned that in books like this, it may shed a bad light on Christianity. Of course, there are plenty of Christians which shed a bad light on Christianity, and plenty of others that shed a good light. So, the important thing in Christianity is that you use Jesus as your example and not other people, and that's what it boils down to. So if you just look at the book for what it is, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good book, and I'm excited that I have finished another series for this year. The other book I finished was also on audio, even though I have my beautiful print copy here that I got for Christmas. This is Fannie Flagg's latest book, The Whole Town's Talking. Now that I have finished this book, I will probably do a whole video on Fannie Flagg and this newest book, but I'll just tell you that I thoroughly enjoyed the book. It was really kind of melancholy because this is a 4th book in the Elmwood Springs series, and it kind of starts out as a prequel, and it moves through time, so you get to see all of the characters that you knew and loved in the other books, and also some characters that I don't recall from the other books, but they may have been there. And also you get to know the founding characters, the people who founded the town, and everything like that. But this book is actually a bit of a fantasy, so it definitely has some magical realism. This is going to sound like an oxymoron, but it kind of deals with a fun outlook on death, and I'll tell you more about it in a future video, but I was really entertained by it, and I am so glad I read it, and this also finishes a series for me. Alright, so what I'm reading right now, if you look on my Goodreads currently reading list right now, you'll see 5 books. Well, 2 of them are books on my Kindle. I am 63% done with Pawper to Pedigree, and I just haven't picked it up much this week because my built-in reading time that I usually do when I'm out has been almost non-existent this week. Katie's been out sick with the flu, and so I've not had to take her to school. Usually when I take her to school, I have Emily with me, and then we have to wait about 30 minutes before I can drop Emily at school. Their schools are right next door, but I have about a half an hour before I can drop Emily, and so I have that built-in reading time. Also, my theme park job, I wasn't scheduled this week, so I usually have a lot of reading time during that, and so I just didn't have the built-in times that I usually have that I would have been reading on my Kindle. So I hope to get back to it this coming week. I'm 63% done with Pawper to Pedigree, and I really plan to get that finished in the next few days. The other Kindle book that I have is Miss Julia's Gift, and I mentioned last week that I am going to be reading this out loud to a couple of my, to a few of my church friends who don't have access to e-readers and have all read the Miss Julia series. So when I went this Wednesday to craft group, one of the 3 ladies was not there, and the other 2 didn't want her to miss it. So I didn't end up reading any of that this week, but I hope to resume next week with Miss Julia's Gift. And when I finish Pawper to Pedigree, I may go ahead and finish reading Miss Julia's Gift on my own, but for now there's not really any rush to finish it since I know I'm going to be reading it with my friends. I also got a little bit more read in Where Two Ways Met by Grace Livingston Hill. I don't know if I should admit this or not, but I'm kind of making this my bathroom book. Sometimes I will carry a book with me into the bathroom, but I decided that I would just keep a book in the bathroom this year. So I actually have 2. I have my devotional book that I'm reading so that I don't forget it, and because I find that if I keep it by my bed, I fall asleep when I'm trying to read, or I don't have enough time in the morning to do it. So I just decided I'm just keeping it in the bathroom, and then I'm keeping this one in the bathroom too. So I'm just reading it just a little bit along, but I do plan to finish it by the end of the month. Now, another print book that I'm reading, I'm about halfway done with, is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. Now, my daughter Katie is reading this along with me, so when I'm home, I don't normally get a lot of at-home sit-down reading time, but because she's reading this too, I don't want to take it out of the house with me. But because it's so good, I've really been making an effort to make more time at home to sit down and read, because this is really good. I'm about halfway done with it right now. I just realized this morning that I actually got ahead of Katie. She was ahead of me, and now I got ahead of her because it's really getting good. And just about 3 days ago, I downloaded on my phone through Hoopla Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. So I'm listening to this on audio. I am on page 160. So far, I think I'm enjoying this one even better than Assassin's Apprentice. So I'm really excited to get back into this world. So I have got 2 big chunkers I'm working on right now, and I finished one other big book already this month. So this is really helping out my big book challenge. So I'm not really sure what I want to pick up after I finish those books. I've still got a good ways to go in those. When I finish The Kiss of Deception, I have The Heart of Betrayal checked out because Katie wanted to check it out, but I'm not sure I'm going to pick it up right away because I also want to go ahead and read Once and Future King, which is our April book club selection from my local public library. I've never read this before, and it looks like that it is a bind-up of 4 books. So when I was looking at it on the library website, I thought, well, you know, if that's going to be a big bind-up of 4 books, I don't know if I want to carry around something so big. So I went ahead and ordered The Sword and the Stone so that I could just read it, you know, in its own book. But it's almost as big as the bind-up, so it didn't really gain me much. But the neat thing about this one is that it is illustrated, which is part of the reason that it is almost as thick, I guess. It has got, let's see, it has got some beautiful illustrated plates within the book scattered throughout, and so I am excited about that. So I definitely will be reading Sword in the Stone this month, and hopefully the entire Once and Future King, because that is one of the classics that I want to read this year, and it's for my book club. I don't have to get it completely finished until April, but since I'm doing some fantasy February, I thought I would go ahead and get started on it this month. And then of course March is just going to be mysteries, so whatever I don't get read in February I will put off till April. Most of what I've been reading so far for February is fantasy, and I mentioned in my TBR that I really want to read some romance, and I'm still going back and forth between Welcome to Harmony by Jodie Thomas and Simply Irresistible by Jill Shalvis. I want to read both of these this month. I'm just not sure which one I'm going to pick up first. I may just read the first chapter of both of them and see which one interests me the most, and then I'll go from there. And then also on my Kindle, I have June checked out from Hoopla. So again, I may read the first chapter of that one, and then I'll see which one I want to read the most. So that's what I'm reading now and what I plan to pick up next. So that's a pretty good week. I finished 3 series, I hit 500 subscribers, and we're getting things underway for March Mystery Madness. So I'm really excited about everything that's happening this week in my reading world. So what are you doing this week? I am excited to know. As I said earlier, I just crave comments. I check it constantly because I love chatting with you. So even if you've never commented to me before and you want to just say hi, then I would love that. Just say hi. Tell me what you're reading. I don't know. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.